Yo, what's up guys? Hope everybody's having a great day today. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it takes to get promoted from junior, mid to senior level developers. Now, just to preference this, okay? Just because you have a title, whether you are a senior engineer with 3 years of experience, a mid engineer, like 6 years of experience, and junior with like one or two, the title doesn't matter. It's all about the experience. One particular way I could tell someone is junior is when, and especially with using AI tools today, they just use AI to build out everything. They get a ticket, they paste the description of that ticket into an AI tool, it outputs the code, they test it, and then they check it in. That's cool. But then if you have a senior engineer like myself, look at the code, and I'm like, well, it's a lot of bloat, number one, which could be a possibility. Number two, the code doesn't even work. Like, how did you test it? I am going to look at whether that code solution actually solves the problem. And usually when you use AI, it does get it right. I would say about 70% of the time. The other 30% is usually a lot of blow for no apparent reason. I could always tell when I'm looking at a pull request for a bug fix or even a feature, if it's been used by AI or it has been built by AI, that a lot of it is not clean. You know, it might look good, but it doesn't necessarily solve the problem. Also, juniors typically they just look at a bug, they work on it, and that's it. They don't question it. They look at the console. Okay, this is the issue. They debug, they solve it, and that's it. They don't question anything. They don't try to look at different edge cases or other areas that could be affected by that change. Nothing. I'm just gonna work on whatever ticket I get, and that's it. And when you first start off, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of that. It's going to be easy to mid problems that you need to solve. When you're challenged with an actual complex problem and you fold, that's going to be an issue. And if you're not willing to ask questions, that's a big thing. Junior devs just go about just writing code, getting things done, don't ask questions. And now you introduce more issues. And now you have to go back and fix those issues. And it's a never ending cycle. So the more questions that you ask about a particular feature or a bug to like a senior engineer or a tech lead, the more answers you're gonna have to solve that problem and actually refactor the code to make it even better. As a senior software engineer now, I ask questions all the time. When I'm dealing with the project, I always ask questions, even though the requirements are right there in front of me. What is the problem that we're trying to solve here? Is this a particular edge case versus this one? And you just go through the flow of just back and forth communication between product, the stakeholders, and you go through that natural flow of, getting the right requirements set up to where now you have a project that is signed off by everybody and you could just work. Okay, because one thing I hate is finishing up a project then having to go back to it in a couple weeks because someone forgot something. It's annoying, and it might be a critical piece too, which is double annoying. So that's how I could tell you if you're junior. Now if you're mid-level, it's going to be a small little mind shift to where I'm working on these small little bugs, but now I'm questioning a couple things. Now I understand the system a little bit better. I'm taking accountability for my time now. I'm not just working on meaningless stuff. I actually want to do more. If you are hungry like that, you're going to become mid-level. All right. You're going to start to work on mid to harder projects, and you're going to be thrown into different projects where you have to either take the lead or talk about solutions to solving problems and how to go about it. The biggest advice I could give you is actually understanding the application that you're building, understanding the code. You don't have to understand everything that the code is doing, but understand how things are functioning, and then also how the code is laid out. If you have a better understanding of the front-end architecture versus the back-end architecture and how to piece things together, you will be fine. But also having that communication style between different teams is going to help you become more successful. So you have to understand it's not just about I'm just going to write all this code and I'm going to question certain things. It's about, okay, when I'm on this project, does everything make sense, right? Like, and think about different tools and libraries that you can use to your disposal to get that project done. Like I referenced earlier with AI, you can still use AI if you prompt it correctly and actually pair a program together to solve those problems. And if it makes a mistake, you have the ability to clean up the code and have someone review it. Okay, whether it's a senior or tech lead, have them review it. They'll give you feedback. And based on that feedback, you're just going to reiterate and get better every single time, every project. So the project that you used to work on, you might look back at it and be like, why did I make these mistakes? That shows that you've grown. That shows that you put in the work, you put in the reps to understand that the coding patterns that you used to apply to does not equate to what you're doing now. Okay, you're making things more simple, it's cleaner. That's a mid-level engineer, and the senior engineer is going to question everything. Like myself, I would say for me personally, it's about 60% of planning and figuring things out, helping others, mentoring others to solve problems. And then the other 40% is coding, if that. And usually I work on projects by myself because I'm very capable of doing so. And the reason why I was given that privilege is because I'm good with communication. I'm good with questioning everything because it's my time at the end of the day. I want to make sure that once this project is done, I don't want to deal with that. I want to focus on the next thing. I'm really good at communicating with not only the engineering team, also the product and the stakeholders involved, figuring things out. Even if I don't know everything, I know that I could learn from other people, right? The engineers that are on the team. The biggest issue I see with junior, mid, and some senior engineers in my career is that they have an ego. They feel like their way is better than everybody else's. And that leads to more issues. That leads to conflict. So if there's conflict with the people that you're talking to and they don't like you, and you're like, I don't care and all that stuff, but then once it comes to peer review time, everybody's like, yo, like your code doesn't work, this, that, and the third. And then you're arguing back and forth. We can't be having that, bro. And if you have a good case for it, then demo it, right? Show us that the code actually works and that it solves a problem. There's ways to go about getting your point across as opposed to just reacting emotionally. And some engineers just can't take that, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. With that, you have to understand communication is very important, bro. I had to learn this the hard way. It wasn't just about the code I was writing. The code I was writing was fine. Obviously, I was learning from my mistakes, but the communication was the sweet spot. Being able to talk to other people and provide context, whether it's from a high level technical standpoint versus just the simplest of what's being solved. You don't have to be technical with a product manager or a stakeholder. You could be technical with an engineer because they're going to know what you're talking about. When I talk to people that are not engineers, I've gotten this down to like a science where I could talk to them and I could tell them what I do. There's no questions. Okay. And this took repetition. This took like being comfortable with telling my story. And you guys need to do that too. So if you want to be a senior engineer, you got to know how to motivate. You got to know how to, mentor and teach people different things. Do your own research on different technologies if you want to, and then have a way to present it to where if it's a tool that you're using currently today that helps with productivity, but no one else on your team is using it, create a presentation, a proof of concept. Hey, I have this tool. Like, for example, if you want to deal with like state management in React, right? Someone wants to use Redux Toolkit. All right. If you want to use Redux Toolkit because you feel like it's easier, you could do the research on Redux Toolkit. You could have a proof of concept of how it works behind the scenes and just show, how easy it will be for state management and how it could connect with the project that you're currently working on and what problem you're solving. If you're able to do that, I'm telling you right now, bro, if you could persuade people on different ideas, you're already there at senior, bro. You're already there. That's what it takes. That's all it takes. That communication was the sweet spot to get me to where I am. It doesn't matter how many years you've been in the field, you've been in the game. Like I said, I've been in the game in over a decade and I've had various jobs. Web designer, web developer, software engineer, and full stack engineer now, okay? As a web designer, I was working by myself. As a web developer, I was working by myself. There was no competition. Once I became a software developer or engineer, competition. People knew more than me, had to figure things out, and then also working with my mentor as well. But you have to understand, taking the time to learn and know when you need to learn new things and provide that feedback to other people is way more beneficial as a senior as opposed to just writing code. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. All the efforts that you have now, all the work that you put in to get to where you are now, it's time to give back. Okay. So the more you push yourself to research the frameworks and libraries that you want to use for productivity, use AI tools to your advantage to where you could have the other engineers use it to their advantage as well. Be able to communicate effectively is going to get you to that senior level, whether it's in 2 years, 3 years, or even 5. All right. It depends on how comfortable you are, because if you're not doing hard things, you're not going to get there. I had to put myself in uncomfortable situations, being in rooms that I was uncomfortable with to get to where I am today. If you're not bringing any value and you're always quiet behind the scenes, but you're working and you're putting in the code and you're solving these problems, yes, you're going to get recognized for that, but it's the people that talk. You have a powerful voice. Talk with your voice, your opinion, right? If people don't agree, that's fine, but you should be happy that you actually spoke up. You're not going to have wins every single day. If you're in a meeting and say, for example, you bring up one thing and no one cares, that's okay. Keep trying. You're going to know when you're ready, when every single time they're talking and people listen and they actually agree with you and people are reaching out to you for stuff. I noticed that the more I put myself out there and the more I was able to convey and speak about how we should go about solving a problem and what I was thinking, people treated me like I was the expert at that particular subject. And that's what you need to do. You need to be an expert at a particular subject, be comfortable with that subject as much as possible, do the research, and just speak. Because people are going to reach out to you more, they're going to need you more, and they're going to be like, hey, can you help me with this, that, and the third? Once I started doing that, getting lit up with stuff. Hey, can you help me with this? I have a question with this. Can we jump on a huddle? Can we jump on a call? That's just how it is when you become a senior. You have to solve other people's problems, okay? And they depend on you. Some of the pitfalls that I just wanted to bring up too. If all you're doing is just writing code and you're not communicating, you're just kind of in your bubble, that's going to be a pitfall for you. You're not going to grow in that. It doesn't matter. You could be working at a company for 3-4 years. You might not even get promoted because, you're just behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? You have to step up in some way. So figure out what that is. If you're afraid to communicate, if you're afraid to present, a lot of people have a fear of public speaking. Practice, record yourself talking. Whatever is scary for you, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you put in that work and you figure things out, you should be fine, bro. The more work you put in and the problems that you're solving and what you're learning and what you're providing as value to not only the company itself, but the engineering teams and your peers and all that stuff speaks way more than just being a number. All right. So that's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what your skill level is right now, what you're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? If you need any help, reach out to me at thefullstackbro@gmail.com. We can have a conversation. We can schedule a call and, we could talk about what's going on. If we could get you to that level, you need me to review your code, I could do that for you. Don't be a stranger, man. All right? We'll talk soon, bro.